Hey guys, it's the Prez, Lawrence Presman. You're watching PuckTime, and it's Friday, the last show of the week. I got the boys with us, Alex B. Smith and Andrew McInnis, both from sportsmemo.com. We got 6 games on tap today. We're going to take apart 4 of them in depth, and then we're going to get to the last minute of play, in which we'll take apart the remaining 2 very, very quickly. I just want to make mention, we've been running a promo all week that's been going really, really well for us. It's the best promotion we're going to be offering in NHL all year. Today is the last day to grab it. It'll be at the bottom of the screen. Plus, I'll talk about it throughout the show. So make sure to take advantage of that offer. Let's bring the guests in. Andrew and Alex. Andrew, I'll go to you first. How are you, my friend? What's going on in Halifax? Getting ready for the Canadian election?
Yeah, I try not to get too involved with that, Prez, but since I'm starting it a little bit, I got to start paying a little more attention to it. I've been doing some play-by-play all morning. I do basketball, volleyball, and hockey play-by-play, just kind of as a good side gig here. I went 2-0 last night in the NHL and got a few spots up tonight, so it's going to be a good weekend, man. I'm coaching. I got some good spots here I like for the NHL, and I'm doing a lot of play-by-play, so keeping busy, and I like it. How are you, Prez?
Dude, I'm doing amazing, man. I got a big poker tournament at my house tonight. Every second Friday, I'm deep into watching The Family. It's a show on Netflix that it just boggles the mind. I mean, it's about this organization, Doug Coe. It's about a Christian fundamentalist group that about 80 years ago decided to take over the world. And ultimately they, according to this documentary, have succeeded. It's about, I think it's a 5-part series on Netflix, and it's a must watch. I mean, it is like you're riveted during this show. And the interesting thing is, I don't know whether to believe it or not. I mean, it's so beautifully laid out. Like, I feel like it's true. There's logic to it, but it's also one of those conspiracy theories. Super, super interesting. Alex B., my brother, how are you?
I'm doing great, getting ready for what's going to be a fun Friday. We've got all kind of stuff on TV. You got college football, NHL, you got UFC, good boxing match coming on tonight as well. So I already got a case of pop ready. I'm going to order some pizza tonight, and hopefully not only watch some games, but make some money with them as well.
Yeah, so that sounds about right.
Huh?
How many Cokes were you cracking tonight?
Well, I mean, I got a whole case, so I'm not going to drink all of them in one night. I'll probably have about 5 or 6.
I feel like a beer would even be healthier than that, probably even.
Oh my God, Andrew,
it might be.
Andrew, heroin would be healthier than what Alex plans to do tonight. Oh my God. Okay, let's get to it, boys. Alex, I'll go to you first. Colorado on the road. This team, we spoke about it in the NHL preview show. We all were very high on Colorado. They have not disappointed. They are 5-0-1 on the season. They going into Florida, and they are a plus 114 dog. Florida's 2-2 and 2-0-2 on the year, and I think Florida is gonna be playing for the last playoff position all year. I think this team is a pretty good team. I like them a little bit at home tonight. I think it's a good spot for them and a bad spot for Colorado. But I also like the over. I think we're going to get some goals scored in this game too. Alex?
Yeah, I like the over here as well. I mean, you got to feel bad for Gabe Landeskog. He set in the game-winning goal in overtime, tried to make a nifty play where he was going to pull the puck from behind him, keep it out of the crease, and it ends up just rolling it right into the net. So they lose 3-2, get their first loss in the year, but albeit they still haven't lost yet in regulation. Sergei Bobrovsky is going to go in net for Florida. He is 7-2-1 with a 2.40 goals against and a .913 save percentage and 11 career starts against Colorado. They need to batten down the hatches on defense, but we haven't seen that quite yet. So like I said, this Colorado team might be a little bit fired up after losing that game the way they did. So I think we might see some goals here. But yeah, I would definitely lean possibly toward Florida here getting the win, but the over looks more like a better choice for
Yeah, Andrew, Alex and I both agree. A lean on Florida, and we both like the over. Where are you going with this one, my friend?
It's always nice, Prez, when we can agree on something, the three of us. I like the over as well. First and foremost, though, you give me a team that's undefeated in regulation at a plus price. I'm going to have to grab that. That's just the way I feel. I think they're up. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and when they've done that, they've given up pretty crappy goals. They haven't really been hard-fought goals. That game against New Jersey, a lot of sloppy goals and turnovers in that game, and it wasn't really acceptable for Colorado right now. One thing that's not really being talked about is their defense, their ability to back check. Their defensemen, we always talk about how their defensemen can push up into the rush, but they are also stay-at-home defensemen. They can get the job done by shutting things down. But when you're on a streak like this Colorado team is right now, eventually you're going to get gassed, you're going to get fatigued, and I still think they're going to score, but they could also kind of make things worse and cause some turnovers. So I would look Florida and Colorado over better than just my Colorado bet, but I'm happy we all agree. Over 6.5 is the way to go in this one.
He's Andrew McInnis, Alex B. Smith with us. Both guys can be found at sportsmemo.com. Check that site out, guys. And also take advantage of our special offer. You get 1 week, 7 full days of everybody's NHL plays. Well, every individually, you get to choose which one you want. Whether it's myself, Dave, Carm, Buster, Kevin Dolan, Alex B. Smith, or Andrew McInnis, it's only $39 for a week. Today's the last day you can take advantage of that offer. Head over to either SportsMemo or WagerTalk.com. and use the promo code NHL39. Guys, we were all high on Dallas at the beginning of the season, especially you, Andrew. But, you did lose a lot of credibility when you said that Vancouver has superstars.
And what was the score of their game last night?
And
plus 170 underdogs.
I don't know what relevance.
Didn't Elliot? I think Elias Pettersson got a goal in that game too, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, guys. I think we need to stop this show and wait for you both to admit that there is not one single superstar on Vancouver. There might be. They might become superstars. But I don't know how you would define a superstar if you think those guys are it. There's only, superstars are like the top 10 guys in the league. Those, maybe even the top 5. Those are superstars. Nathan
the
McKinnon.
Fact is, Prez, you pounced on one word I said, and I'm going to hear about that for about next 30 weeks of the year.
Yeah, because you then started justifying it 5 minutes ago by telling us what the Vancouver score was. I am not saying another word until you admit that you are wrong.
What do you want me to admit?
There are no superstars on Vancouver.
There are future superstars on Vancouver.
There are no superstars on Vancouver. Say it.
So yeah, in this Pittsburgh-Dallas game here.
No. Say it.
There are no current superstars.
I'll accept that. Dallas on the road, Bishop in net. This team is 1-6, and Bishop is not playing very well at all right now. They're plus 123 going into Pittsburgh. I think it might be a bad spot for Pittsburgh. They just came off of a pull a horseshoe out of your ass win against Colorado in a shootout. Pittsburgh's 5-2 on the year. I'll tell you something. What's interesting to me about this game is I think both of these teams are heading in the wrong direction based on our projections. I don't think Pittsburgh's a 5-2 team, and surely Dallas isn't a 1-6 team. I think it's buy on Dallas, sell on Pittsburgh, and I lean on Dallas, Alex, at plus 123 tonight.
Yeah, I would lean with them too. As you mentioned, Ben Bishop hasn't been playing well, and that's why he's not starting tonight. It'll be Anton Khudobin in net for the Stars. He's been a fairly formidable number 2 goalie, even going back with that 1 year he had in Boston. The time he had in Carolina, he's always been good in these kind of spot starts. Pittsburgh, we've seen them get their offense going, but against it was teams, Minnesota and Winnipeg, who are absolute disaster fires right now on defense. Like I said, the win against Colorado was a 2-2 game, very close, and like I said, Landeskog making a mistake, putting it in his own net was the reason Pittsburgh ended up with that win. If it goes to a shootout, who knows what happens. But you got a spot here. It's just, can Dallas score? Pittsburgh's given up some kind of soft goals at times, especially looking at that game last Saturday with Minnesota. It's just going to be a spot for me, but a slight lean with Dallas at a plus price with the bully in current form with Khudobin.
Andrew McInnis, what do you like, my brother?
Prez, you hit on what I wanted to really talk about, but this is a stay off game for the side for me. Simply like you said, Pittsburgh's overachieving, Dallas is underachieving. However, I will look at the under 6 in this spot here. Pittsburgh has scored a decent amount of goals in their past few games, but they're still missing some key guys. Props to them for getting some goals and getting some secondary scoring, but that won't last. It's not going to continue until they get some of those guys back. Right now, Dallas, they do have some strong goaltending. I would go under 6 here. I'm kind of surprised we're getting a 6, and I bet you as the day progresses, the odds will get worse and worse for that under. So I'd grab that right now.
Yeah, it's funny because, when we were waiting for you, as Alex and I do on a regular basis, Alex and I were actually talking about that, and I was telling him I liked the under in that game. So yeah, I'm with you there too, my friend. Good call. Columbus going into Chicago, Alex. Columbus 3-3 on the year, and really playing to their identity. They're going to struggle to beat teams by more than a goal, but they're going to be a hard team to play against all year. Chicago 1-2-1 on the year. Chicago's a favorite, -135, and the total is 6.5. I like the under in this game, Alex. I think if I'm going to get a 6.5 with a Columbus team, I'm going to probably play it to the under blind.
Yeah, it makes sense. And you look at these two teams, they used to be division rivals way back when, but even since they've split and gone to opposite conferences, when they play each other, the mantra has pretty much been they score on each other early and then things slow down, then they go trend toward the under late. So you look at for the Hawks tonight, Robin Lehner's in net, who, I've gotten some flack with other Hawks fans on Twitter about this, but Robin Lehner is the number one goalie on this team. Whether you talk about the 1A or 1B, he's so far been in the current better form, even going back into the preseason. So him getting the start, it justifies him being a favorite here. He's 5-3 with a 1.97 goals against, 945 save percentage, and 1 shutout in his career. 8 starts against the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is a Jackets team. They're just wildly inconsistent, in my opinion. Like I said, they're 3-3. Some nights they'll get nights they won't get any scoring. The goaltending's still going to. I actually like the Hawks here in this spot. I would probably play them in regulation, get a plus price here. I think Lehner will be able to carry them to a win.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. And Crawford, in all seriousness, even when they won the cup, he's not, well, Andrew might call him a superstar goalie, but I mean, he's never been a superstar goalie.
And then
he's streaky at times. Yeah.
What, Andrew?
Freddie Anderson must be an all-star too, right?
Yeah, so that's your response? Like we're talking about Crawford and Chicago.
You like to bring up the Leafs randomly, so I just thought I would.
Okay, fine. Bring them up randomly. Go Leafs. There you go. That's a random bring up. But do I think Freddie Anderson is a superstar goalie? No, of course not. He's better than Crawford. Andrew, what do you like in this game?
No.
Yeah. Well, Alex, his team is up. Yeah.
Andrew, we're having sound issues with you. What else is new, right?
Down, up and down.
Andrew, we can't hear a word that you're saying. Alex, you there?
I guess.
Oh, yeah, I froze up too.
Okay, Andrew,
all right.
Try that again.
Can you hear me, Prez?
We can. Go ahead.
Okay. Point being, what I was trying to say is that, like Alex said, this team is very up and down. They're losing to teams like Anaheim, but then they're also, beating teams like Dallas. They're really up and down. They've lost 7-2 to Pittsburgh, 4-1 to Toronto. You cannot trust this Columbus team on any given night. And at the odds that we're getting here with the Chicago team, that I think is a much improved team with still some select, quote unquote, all-stars on this team, with a goaltender like Lehner, who, like I agree with Alex, is the number one goaltender on this team. This is a good spot here to back the Blackhawks here off a good win versus the Edmonton Oilers. I think this is the best spot here, and this is one of my favorite plays here on the card. So, fade Columbus in certain spots like these. Columbus is going to be the kind of team this year, guys, where you can count on them to beat the crappy teams. When they go head-to-head against, an average team or above-average team, they're not going to do well. So this is a big test here for Chicago to go out there and prove themselves, and Columbus is going to be on the decline this year, and this game should prove it to us.
He's Andrew McInnis. Noise the crap out of me, but that's a different story. Anaheim hosting Carolina. Anaheim's the surprise team right now. So far at the start of the NHL season, this team is 5-2 on the year and playing good hockey. Carolina's 6-2, and look, that I think that record's impressive. I don't think they're a 6-2 team, but they're a tough out too. They're kind of like a feisty Columbus that could score a little bit more. I like the under in this game, Alex. It's 5.5. I think this game says 2-1, 3-2. I don't know where 6 goals are going to come from.
Yeah, this has been a rough trip for this Carolina team so far on the West Coast trip. They were able to get that win against LA, but they did not make it easy on themselves. It was pretty much a 1-0 game or a 0-0 game for the first 45 minutes of play. And then they get blown out the next night by a San Jose team that's on the decline. This Anaheim team's kind of what we talked about. We said with Pittsburgh and Columbus, teams that are playing a little bit above where we project them to be. And that's because they have one of the best goaltenders in the world in John Gibson. And he's the guy who can steal you a couple of games in a row. Night after night, he's going to give you a solid performance. And they were able to beat a good Buffalo team 5-2 the other night. Yeah. So I would lean with Anaheim here. And I would also look at that under, granted that if he's getting the start tonight.
Andrew?
Yeah, Prez, I'm the same way with you, where I like to look at teams that are overachieving, underachieving, how they're doing so far in this really young season. And Anaheim right now, look at who they've played, guys. They've played Arizona, San Jose, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Boston, and Buffalo. Those aren't any teams to write home about. Those aren't any teams to boast about, be proud about, and be excited about defeating. Carolina is a team to talk about, and they're coming in here, and we're getting some solid odds here. That's my statement. Who have Anaheim played that should get us that excited about yet? They haven't really beaten anybody or really contended against anybody that I'm really too concerned about. So for me, I like Carolina here. They're a better team. They have way more secondary scoring. They can play physical just like Anaheim. They have solid goaltending, and I know they're on the road, but these are some great odds here. And until Anaheim can beat a good team, I'm going to fade them again.
Guys, I just want to make mention again, please take advantage of our offer. It's up only for one more day, that being today. The promo code is NHL39. You get 1 week of any of our NHL experts for only $39. That promo code will work at both Sports Memo or WagerTalk. Make sure to get down on that. Guys, it's the last minute of play. Andrew, you're an announcer. Why don't you give us the last minute of play?
No, I'm good. That's your job. You're the host, Prez. I need a whole sound system for me to sound good with that. You're really good with that.
Last minute of play. Washington minus 218 against the Rangers. Total is 6.5 here. I think the Rangers are live, Alex. I wouldn't mind sprinkling a little bit on New York tonight.
Yeah, that's an awfully high price for this Capital team right now. The thing I would be looking at here is the draw, plus 345. 5 of the last 7 meetings have gone into overtime or shootout. So that's a great price to get with a trend like that.
Andrew?
The way I see it, if you like New York against a really good team like Washington, you also like the over, and that's the way I go here. Over 6.5 goals. We got some young guys that can get the puck in the back of the net for New York, but also a top line that's really, really dangerous. A goalie in Lundqvist that I don't trust. That this goes over the total of 6.5.
Guys, Edmonton minus 202 against Detroit. I'll tell you flat out, guys. I think this is a bad spot for Edmonton. I think Detroit is in dire need of turning this road trip around. I can't play against Edmonton right now. This team looks like the best team in hockey. Obviously, they're not. But right now, they are just full on all cylinders. I'm going to lay off this game. Alex?
Yeah, Detroit has allowed 15 goals in the last 3 games. That's a disaster right now. I like the first period over. You got to shop around. You find 1.5, now move to 2. Both teams have gone 4-2 the first in their last 6 games.
Andrew?
Yeah, I'll go over the total here, guys, again. It's an Edmonton team that when they have their secondary scoring, they can be really, really dangerous. Right now, still about 2/3 of the goals scored by this Edmonton team has either involved Connor McDavid or James Neal. If they can get any more secondary scoring, they're going to be a great team and continue their success. And I can see, some goals going in on their part as well. The thing, it also turns into turnovers. That's what I expect here. Go over the total in this one.
Yeah, and I was looking at the over. The problem for me was, however bad Detroit's defense is, they put up a 1 spot against Calgary, a 1 spot against Vancouver, a 2 spot against the Leafs, a 1 spot against Anaheim. For this game to go over, Edmonton's got to put up 5, and if that's the case, you might as well bet Edmonton -2.5 plus 300.
That sounds like a pretty good bet, as far as odds go to me.
There you go. He's Andrew. The other guy's Alex. I'm the Prez. You've been watching PuckTime, and guys, thanks so much, man. For watching the show, for commenting. We are so appreciative of it. We put in a lot of work on these shows, and when we read the good comments on YouTube, for me, it makes my day. I know Alex reads them and Andrew reads them, so thanks to everybody. Make sure to check out the Betting Edge today, Marco D'Angelo and Jeff from Oskheim Sports. I'm the Prez. May the puck bounce in every direction that you need. That's just so Vince Van Patten of me. Vince Van Dyke. I don't even know his name. Vince Van Patten. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know you're talking about, yeah.
Do you know that he's the kid of the father of 8 is Enough? Do you even remember that show? You guys are so young.
I've seen the reruns of it. I don't remember when it actually aired.
And he's like in his early 60s.
Yeah, because he was super young back then. So yeah, it's like probably 68, 69.
No, I can't be that old. But that guy's probably the youngest looking old guy on the planet, other than me.
Of course.
Thanks, everybody. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend. PuckTime is back on Monday.
Take care, guys. See you.